a couple of bald eagles in my territory, I wouldn't be that thrilled neither. Hey folks, welcome to another review in my carving axe series. Okay, I got it. Maybe it's me and my little carving axe video endeavors here that he doesn't like. Anyways, welcome to another video, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. Today I have something very, very special and something quite unique in my hands here. This is the Landvirke forge slim carver made by Hans-Peter Knudsen in Denmark. This is a very, very special piece. I want to give you a quick overview. There's so much wildlife around here, folks. It's amazing. Pretty sure there's just a deer walking down the slope. Deer hunting season. So, yeah. Back to the axe. It is a very, very special piece. I just want to give you a quick overview over this. The slim carver is a rather big carving axe with a very, very long cutting edge. And this very particular one, and all of Hans-Peter's axes, as far as I understand, is laminated. So we're having a mild steel body that has a piece of spring steel inserted that goes pretty much half the way through the bit. And Hans-Peter is doing all of this with a hammer. Absolutely amazing. He himself, in his own right, is a forging, a blacksmithing, and wood crafting teacher in Denmark. So he's also teaching those skills. And we have been talking for a while about different axes, and he was so nice to send me a couple to just use them every single day and give him a feedback what I think, because all the axes are very, very different. I have to say that this particular one here, and that's probably coming across in the pictures as well, got a lot of use. As you can see, it is an absolutely incredibly beautiful axe with a beautifully made handle as well, that has beautiful ridge lines and a lot of action happening. But the handle is itself, I've come to understand, is not as important as a carving axe, because people using a carving axe are able to make their own handles. If I don't like this handle, if there's anything wrong with it for my own taste, the balance, the way it feels in hand, if I want to have a couple more ridge lines here and there to better indicate direction of the blade and all of these things, then I'm just gonna cut this thing off. I modify it, I carve it a little bit, like I said, I just cut it off, hammer the steel wedge out that is in there, and I just carve my own handle. What is really important is the bit. This bit is, as you can probably see in the upcoming pictures, is very slim. And the interesting thing about that for me is that when it comes to spoon carving, it does an incredible job slicing, because it is just it's a slicer. It's amazing. But where it really excels is hewing. And the only hewing that I personally do at the moment is bows and making paddles. Since my paddles are entirely made with an axe and a draw knife, the axe plays a very, very important role in finishing the paddle up, carving it out first, and then pretty much finishing it up about 70%, 65-70%. And I just love this axe for this. When you're into bow making, or even like chest making and all of these things, this axe would still come in very handy. That being said, it's not as heavy as a lot of your other typical goose wing and hewing axes, so that must be considered. But I put the weight down below. It is by far not as heavy as the Liam Hoffman axe, which has its advantages, but it also has its disadvantages, as I said. It is really along the lines of much shorter and smaller axes, just because there's so little material in the bit. And like I said, this makes it still a really nice spoon carving axe, and also a nice cooks a carving axe, and this very, very long blade is just really beautiful when you axe in the crank. And another thing is it doesn't bounce out. There's a couple of axes I'm reviewing where it's not devastating for the performance, but they still want to bounce out of some cuts. With this axe, you're probably not getting the very nice splitting action when you do heavy stock removal. I'm not saying it's getting stuck, but it's also not just prying off material like crazy. But when you do these very important parts of carving in a crank, and then hewing back towards your saw cut or whatever it is, if you want to learn more about that, go to my spoon carving videos. This axe just excels. It is a quite long distance from the eye to the edge, which usually does a little bit for instability in the axe when using it, just because the distance becomes bigger, and also carving cuts may be different, not difficult, but different with this axe. However, because the blade is so long on this axe, it kind of balances the axe out again. Like, it is a difference if you have a very, very narrow felling profile, like in a Swedish typical axe that is still very long here. But in this case, you have quite a lot of more length, probably about an inch between the Hans Carlsen Sloidex, for example, and this one here. But then again, you also have a blade length that's about a third longer. So there's a lot of stability coming back here. The handle has a beautiful saddle up here, where I find myself using this axe a lot when I'm doing spoon carving, as you're gonna see. And also back here, I'm getting a lot of leverage and a lot of power. But since the axe is not very heavy, and part of it is the little amount here in the bit, another reason is the eye itself is not very deep. This is about a 1 and a bit inch, 1.5 inch at the widest point here, and the pole is also rather small. Just as a comparison, since I do both of these videos today, you can see how wide and thick my personal axe is back here, which packs a lot of weight into this part here. That is then transformed into the shorter cutting blade, which is doing a lot of, is very efficient in a way for me as far as stock removal and impact. However, this axe here has a completely different ball game, so to say. This is not the kind of axe that you can do heavy stock removal very easily with this, and you're going to see that in a second, but it has a different feel to it. That's what I kind of try to express from a smaller, more compact axe like the Sloyd axe by Hans Carlsen, or my personal one here, or like other rather small carving axes. This axe as well has the capabilities to a certain degree, definitely, to be used with two hands, and in that respect doing a little bit of fine hewing. And here I definitely talk more about smaller projects where you feel like you want to use it with two hands, which is not something I usually do, so I can't really tell you anything about that. However, holding it and having the handle like this, I can absolutely feel that you can use this axe with two hands very, very nicely. I hope, folks, from this perspective it's a little bit more obvious how thin the bit is, and you're getting a little bit more of an idea here. This is in most parts here, I would say we're having about 8 millimeters up here, very, very quickly tapering down to maybe 3 to 4 millimeters down here. It is an absolute slim carver. It is light in the hand, but it's still quite a wide blade. So we're taking our rather dry spoon carving blank here again. That I forgot. This is quite dry, and we're taking more material off here, and this would be considered for me rather heavy stock removal as far as spoon carving goes. And it has a very, very different feel to it from my own personal carving axe that I just reviewed before. So you can see there's not a lot of impact from my side. I just dropped the axe in. But I keep the end of the handle low, and it's just very, very deep penetration into the wood. I'm not using any force right now. I'm only dropping the axe into the piece. On the other hand, if I go a little bit with more force, you can see there's pieces flying off very, very easily, and it leaves a beautiful finish. Now let's see how it performs when we're just using a little bit of hand carving techniques here. Just a couple of push cuts maybe in one or the other situation. Beautiful, beautiful. The steel Hans-Peter uses keeps a very, very nice edge. And although the blade is quite far away from my hand, since it's so slim, it nearly has a knife feel to it. The pommel is nice and small, stays nice in the hand. Has a very, very nice feel to it. And also the kind of guillotine cuts you might use to clean up your bowl. Very nice. There's a lot of material here. This is not the kind of slim spoon bowl edge removal thingy technique that I'm usually doing, but you can still tell that it does a beautiful push cut. And the edge is perfect. Not a nick. Folks, thank you for watching again and for the ongoing support for the channel. This is a lot of fun. Video making is sometimes a little bit tedious because you're coming out and finding a nice spot and you walk back and forth with the camera and checking stuff and everything. You take it home and then the editing starts and you want to make it really nice and everything. But I think it becomes a little bit of a craft for me as well, so I'm just trying to be creative and giving you a nice experience. I want to say thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much to Hans-Peter Knudsen from Landvirke Forge in Denmark for sending me these pieces to examine and have just my go with it, and I'm enjoying it very much. Knives is my big passion and what I can do with them especially, but axes very quickly have become this amazing topic of tools that are so underestimated and are such a beautiful tool by itself that has been with us for thousands of years. And like I said, so versatile. Is it like from a spoon to a ship to a house? You can do so many things with an axe. Hans-Peter's axes as well come with a very, very nicely done leather cover from German compressed leather. They also feature little accents like copper rivets and everything, and that is definitely a very big plus, since these axes are not cheap, but they come with the whole package, and you are getting a whole lifetime of a beautiful artifact tool that you can use that is going to perform amazingly, and they're absolutely one-of-a-kind pieces that is a very important part, since for craftsmen you would invest once very wisely into a beautiful tool and you would cherish it for the rest of your life. And I'm very lucky to have these opportunities, and I'm trying to do my best to get for you and for the blacksmiths the information out of it that I can provide, and that you're gonna see this axe here in a lot of videos, and one of them I'm gonna link from here as well is the video of me carving paddles with an axe and a knife that I've been using for canoe tripping all over Ontario in the summer and fall. And I want to ongoing use the axes that have been donated to me for these things, and give people more feedback. And please, if you have a question before you want to commit to a fine tool, and I can help you with it. I'm not saying that I'm the encyclopedia for all of this knowledge. There's a lot of very knowledgeable people out there, but in this case I just had the great opportunity to use them all and do a comparison, and I would really love to answer your questions. In return, it would be really nice if you would just leave some good feedback, if you have some, that can help the channel. Please just like the videos and subscribe to the channel if you had a good time. Like I said, I'm putting a lot of time and energy in trying to figure out the way how you can benefit the most from it. And as I said as well in this video with Jeff, where we go over crafting and adventuring in Ontario during my year here. By the way, it's a blast and very informative to watch, so go ahead and browse my channel for craft and adventure in Ontario. And yeah, we have been speaking about it as well. It's a lot of time, it's a lot of energy, and very often I think I'm not taking YouTube videos for granted anymore at all, because I know the people who are making these videos and who have been helping me so incredibly much over the years with my own craft. They sat down, figured out a nice concept, and put a lot of time and energy and their own knowledge into this. And this is also something we shouldn't underestimate. And I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about it in general. People are sharing their knowledge that they acquired over years and years of trial and error, and try to help out other people who don't have to pay anything for it, or who don't have to go anywhere for it, but they can just conveniently sit at home and learn all of these things. And I'm talking about myself being able to learn all of that too. So I think that the minimal thing I want to give back is just to respect their channels and like their videos and maybe subscribe to them. And that way as well, there's tons of new stuff coming out on this channel as well, and you're never gonna miss anything that might be very fun to watch and informative. And yeah, so with this and a little bit of footage from me using this axe for hewing, I wanna say thank you again for watching. Have a great time, and I'm gonna see you next time.